Good evening, everybody. I would like to call this regular council meeting to order on May the 21st, 2024 at 7 p.m. We will stay seated for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we're extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. On behalf of council and myself, I want to apologize to the residents who attended our May 7th, 2024 meeting for failing to open the doors for the public when the council came out of our closed meeting. We'll make every effort to ensure that this does not happen again. Public Works staff have been preparing our Public Works parks and washrooms for the May 18th, 2024 opening. The Victoria Day long weekend brings many of our seasonal residents and visitors to our communities. Extra care and attention is required on our roads, lakes, and rivers with this increase in traffic. With the rainfall we have received in the past few weeks, most of our lakes have returned to near normal levels. On Sunday, May 19th, 2024, the Golden Lake Property Owners Association held their annual fish fry at the Red Pine Camp on Island View Drive from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. New this year was live music, a beer tent, and a fish derby for the children. And from speaking to Councillor Burt, who attended, he said approximately 250 people were in attendance, which is good news. On Monday, May 27th, 2024, MPP John Yakubowski is hosting a Renfrew County Day at Queen's Park. Warden Nemo, CAO Craig Kelly, senior leadership staff, and committee chairpersons will have an opportunity to meet with various provincial ministers. And finally, on May the 11th, 2024, I attended Father Ken O'Brien's retirement from the priesthood after 50 years of dedicated service. Father Ken served many of the rural community churches in Renfrew County. And I have a motion that May 21st, 2024 Mayor's Address be accepted as presented. Moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Buckholt. Comments, questions? Seeing none, Councillor Burns? Yes. Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Buckholt?
Yes.
Councillor Recchi-Chantal?
Yes.
Yes. That is carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, then we'll move to the adoption of the minutes, and I have a motion that the May 6th, 2024 special and the May 7th, 2024 regular council minutes be accepted as presented. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckholt. Comments or questions? Any additions, corrections? Yes.
To confirm the bylaw for the May 6th meeting, it was moved by Council Buckwell and second by Council Buckwell.
You were doing double duty.
Which one?
Confirming.
Staff will
Oh, is that
check that.
a special meeting?
Yeah.
That's no good.
It was.
Which one? I'm not gonna worry about
That's that day,
The 6th.
the 6th.
Yeah, that's the Snow Drifters one special meeting minutes.
You'll have to check that as well.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So we'll note that correction. And I'll call the vote. Councillor Burns?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Buckholt?
Yes.
Councillor Recchi-Chantal?
Yes.
And a yes, that's carried. Thank you. And that brings us to delegations, and it's our pleasure tonight that we have Muriel Birch, who will be doing a delegation, and please come forward, Muriel.
Well, Mr. Burles and council members and staff, Thank you for giving me this chance to speak to you tonight. I've got a few notes in front of me because I'm going to touch on a lot of little topics and I don't want to miss one, so. And as I said in my letter to you, I wanted a chance to let you know what it looked like from the other side of the table and how difficult it seems to communicate with elected officials, because I just can't seem to get through to most of you when I want to, or when I need something, or how long it takes. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. So the following comments and concerns are mine and mine alone, and my opinions. And I don't come with any disrespect for anyone at this table or any council members. It just comes that I just don't think we're communicating very well with the public. And I have to say that when I come to attend a meeting, it's not a welcoming atmosphere when you walk in here. And it hasn't been until the last, well, once I sent my letter, it seemed to get a little better. I wonder why, but anyhow, it isn't welcoming. There's tension in the room, there's tension with everyone. It just does not feel good. And I don't really know why, but it doesn't. There's a distance in here. It's not relating with the public. And that's the way I feel. And I have to say, when COVID was over and we were allowed back into the chambers, there were 4 chairs. And on those chairs, there was this notice that told us how to act. I felt that was a real slap in the face. It felt like you were treating the public like a kindergarten class, like we didn't know how to act. If we were going to cause a fuss or be disrespectful, Mr. Rose could have said out and we'd have went. I just felt it was a real put down, like as if we shouldn't be here. And that's the way I took it. I come to the meetings to see what I can learn about our township and what's going on, what projects might be coming up, what projects are going on, how my tax dollars are being spent, and are they being spent well, or I mean, that's my opinion, whether they are or not, and it's your opinion, but I just, that's why I come. And I would like to see what council has to say about any of these things. I hear very, very little discussion at this council table. I don't know when the discussions take place. I don't know when you talk about these things that appear on the agenda, but I don't hear them here. So I guess I wonder, how do you come to these decisions? Do you get an agenda and you go from there? And everybody just does their own thing, because I don't hear much here, very little. I mean, there's some, of course, but. And it does seem to be tension in this room with ratepayers and council. It's as if it's a dividing line. We're not all together, and we should be. I mean, we are the ratepayers here. We pay the bills, it's our taxes. So I don't know why the tension. It's as if there's a secret that we shouldn't know, and so you don't want to discuss it in front of us. Or in front of me anyway, I don't know. So it seems very difficult to get to talk to members of council and staff without filling in a form or waiting for callbacks. I get that we're busy and everyone's busy, and so there's an answering machine down here that takes your message. And that's fine. I can understand if you're busy and can't answer the phone, but for every call, does it have to go to an answering machine? Because there's more time wasted, callbacks, more time for me to sit there and wait for a call, and then we play phone tag for how long till we finally get through to each other. I don't feel that's a good use of time. Meetings is my next topic. As a ratepayer sitting in the audience of a regular meeting, many times it is difficult to hear everyone, so you have to remember to speak up. maybe some people need a mic, I don't know what it is, and if you're online, it's also difficult to hear people. Now, I have to admit, I haven't listened online recently because I'm here. But I don't know if it's the owl in the sky or what it is that doesn't pick us up or pick you up or whatever. And, anyway, it is difficult. And I don't hear it that well on the internet, and it seems to take a long time for the minute of the council meeting to get to the YouTube. I don't know why it's taken tonight, why it can't be there tomorrow. Everybody's on technology, everybody can click a button and it's there tomorrow, and it doesn't seem to get there tomorrow. So I don't know what takes so long. I listen to a couple of other township meetings quite frequently. And I learn about upcoming events, things that are going on, regulations coming down from the government, things like that. And I hear discussions taking place among all the members at the council table. And so I know their feeling and what they're thinking. I don't hear that here. I don't know what it is, but anyway, if I don't hear, then I can learn a lot from them. I wish I could learn the same from here. Technology. I'm old, I know that. And I come from the old generation. So I don't do well with computers, Facebook, etc. Even my cell phone is a challenge to me. And I'm sure you realize that in our township, we have a lot of seniors. I mean, we're made up of seniors here. And they have to be in the same boat I am, a lot of them. They just can't handle this, so they can't get to this information. And another thing, a lot of them don't have reliable internet to be able to get it. And we're also made up of a lot of farmers in this area. They do not have time to spend on their computers, getting emails or anything else. They'll phone me up and ask me if I was at a meeting, do I know what's going on? I don't know why, but anyway. And the tax bill, the last tax bill we received, when I got it in the mail, beautiful. Nice color, looks great. Did it cost to put that out in color and how many people really paid attention to it? I don't know. Second thing on this thing, under what our community expects. Listen to the constituents. Now, I don't know how you can listen when we can't get to you. Or I can't seem to get you, but that's what's on there. So, and I sat at a meeting here where you discussed the little yellow tag for over half an hour we spent on that one night at a meeting, deciding whether we put it in the tax bill or we wouldn't put it in the tax bill. No, we wouldn't put it in the tax bill. That was gonna cost money to print off that size of sheet to go in the tax bill. Instead, we as a ratepayer should drive down here and pick it up. With the price of gas today, I don't think so. So, like, that's something you could have did for the ratepayers, is sent that little thing. And even now that I've got it, I can't really understand it. There's 2 dates at the top. I don't know if I can go to each of those, because then down further, it says only 1 coupon per 911 address. So does that mean I can only go to one of those? I'm not sure what it's saying. Anyway, that's just a comment I'm making. Forms. Do people in this township know what the strategic plan is or the service tracker? I'm not even sure I know what the heck the service tracker is. So I don't know how many people know this. It seems that there's so many forms that it just takes so long to get anything done. I wrote a letter asking to be put on the agenda of the delegation, but was then told I had to fill out a form. I wrote the letter, I said exactly what I wanted, but that wasn't good enough. I had to fill out a form and put it on a form. I don't know what the difference was, because the form didn't give you as much information as I gave you in my letter.
We didn't have a contact to get back to you.
You couldn't
Remember?
find me?
I couldn't find you.
Everybody in this room, I think, pretty well knows me. However,
That's why we need one.
that's why you need a form. Well, you could have asked, but anyway, apologize. The question period, we had a question period years ago, and I think it worked well. It might have only been 5 or 10 minutes at the end of a meeting, but it was enough to be able to ask a question or get something clarified, like that little yellow sheet in here. I think it was a good thing because we might learn something and we might learn something from each other. The website, not a good website as far as I'm concerned, and I don't know anything, so maybe I'm being too judgmental about that. But I can't seem to find anything on it. And I don't know how often it's updated or what, but there's still today a thing on it saying that that closure on Black Creek Road is now open and you can drive through. Well, that was way back at April 26th and it's still on there. I don't know why it's on there. That road's been open since then. Pretty well all the time. So anyway, that's the website I'm not happy with. The quarterly newsletter, it looks beautiful. It really does. But it doesn't give much information about our township. It doesn't tell much about our area. It might pick up one person or another person, but it doesn't really tell you what's going on. It doesn't tell you what projects are being done, what roads are being done, or what is being done to the roads. A lot of people don't know. I know our road super has talked to some people because they asked some questions because they told me they have, but they don't know. So something like that could be put in the new in that. But anyway, I think it's beautiful, but to me, it's not worth the cost. It's costing to do it, and I'm not sure what the cost is, but it wouldn't be that little considering what it is. And the budget? Well, I attended the budget meeting during the day, and they were held during the day. And I can see that, but there's so many people are not available to come during the day, so they wouldn't have been able to come. I think I learned a lot from those meetings. I appreciated being here, and I think it was well done, and I was happy I could come for it. However, the budget meeting, delivering it to the community was a waste of everyone's time, your time, every one of you and me, because what did it tell everybody? Nobody. I knew some things because I've been at the meetings. But if you weren't here, that budget meeting told you why you had a budget. Now, everyone, to my knowledge, should know why you have to have a budget, but anyway. It told you nothing and it didn't give you much of a breakdown except a little round circle with some things on it. You couldn't ask a question, you couldn't make a comment. To me, it was a waste of time. Maybe it would be better to have a meeting beforehand, so the public could give you some input if you wanted it, but maybe you don't, I don't know. However, that's my spiel, and I think I've done my 10 minutes, which it says I can have only, so there you are. I just feel we need more communication. I think even a public meeting 4 times a year instead of that newsletter might be better. So you could bring up points that are happening around that time, or people would have questions that they could ask, or concerns. To me, that would be better time spent than the newsletter. And I thank you all for listening to me.
And thank you very much for your presentation. We actually gave you 5 extra minutes, so.
I knew you were going to have to if you, but because I was checking out my thing at home and I said I'm gonna run over, but if Mr. Rose would like to stop me, we can.
No, that's fine. And certainly appreciate your feedback and your comments, and I'll turn it over to council if they have any questions. Yes, Councilor Buck.
I was just taking some notes as we were going through it on, if I may, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to put my perspective on a couple of things that were brought up. Okay. One of the questions that you asked was when do discussions happen, since there doesn't seem to be a lot of discussion at the council table. And I can understand that. I know for myself, we don't have discussions, at least not that I'm part of, outside of the meetings. What happens is when we get our agenda package, which has the information in it with the reports, I pretty much have the information that I need to come to a decision on my own. Right, so there may not be a lot of discussion because the reports have gotten a lot better than they were years ago. Just, Muriel, I was on back around 2000. We didn't have the detail in the reports that we have now. So yeah, there was a lot more discussion trying to get information from staff. At this point, I feel like I've got the information that I need. And it may not be that members of the public hear the discussions and see it, but there's no backroom meetings happening. I guess it's basically what I'm trying to say for if anybody that has that concern. Some of the other things, yeah, the technology challenges, I'm with you 110% on that. We do have issues. I don't like the website myself either. I'd like to see something a little bit different. But again, that's something that we can, take back to staff and see if we can find something that would work better. Was there anything in particular in the website that you had difficulty with?
as I said, I'm not computer minded, but there's always this thing on the front, and that's the thing that's saying that road is now open on Black Creek Road. And until you click on that, you can't get anywhere else. Like, that's silly. Well, I say it's silly. But if it was something important, like you're burning down here or something, then maybe it's important, but I didn't figure that was.
And if I could just ask what other questions, because you mentioned maybe having something like quarterly public meetings. What would you envision happening in those meetings? That you would feel that you were getting basically what you're looking for, what the other ratepayers are looking for. Like what would it look like to you?
Well, I don't know. Perhaps you could have sheet of paper, black and white, no colors, nothing exotic, just something saying, we're working on this road right now, and we're going to do this. Next year, we'll try to do these roads. This is what we're doing. Why are you grading up the sides of the road? I know, because I've checked it out, but people are saying, why are you putting all that gravel in the ditch? Well, like something like that. They don't know this new technology, if there's something to be graded out and then it's going to be picked up or it's not going to be picked up or whatever. And I heard Councillor Reiki Schoenfeld ask if you were now sweeping all the roads, because she had no idea, obviously, that the roads were being swept. Well, that's another thing. Tell the people what you do. Things like that. Maybe down the road, we're having something in August, or we're having this or that. Put it down on a sheet of paper and then that will give the people something to think about and something to ask about, and they might know. Or, what about the bulk pickup or whatever that thing is here? I probably don't use it anyway. I never have, but I did pick one up because I was here paying my taxes, but tell them about it. Maybe they're not familiar with it.
Okay. That gives me a little bit more information. Thank you.
Councillor Richardson.
I would have to agree, like communication is the key to success, right? Trying to find a suitable communication tool is difficult because I think it's a multifaceted communication tool, right? And I do agree that we do have to give the ratepayers or customers more of a voice, and we can sometimes agree to disagree, but we can also maybe say we never thought about that, because there's stuff that people have thought and told me that I've never thought about before. Even in terms of the rec committee, some people have come forward and said, did you think about that idea? Or did you think about that idea? Or in another community, we did this, right? So I think many minds can sometimes solve a problem. And I do agree with the fact that I feel sometimes we're spinning our wheels and not actually getting the task or the project completed.
Right.
So like moving forward, I think you've given us a lot of good ideas, and I think we should be able to complete some of them, whether it's like making the owl more usable or trying to figure out how we get it on YouTube quicker, or how we get our voice so that members of the gallery can hear us better than others. Right? And I don't think those are difficult things. I do realize, though, that there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that even council's not aware of. I also agree with the fact that I think there's a lot more stuff downloaded to the municipalities than ever was before. And like where you talk about having to write out and fill a piece of paper to get acknowledged of the process, I have a feeling that the people behind me have to fill out tons more paper than they ever did before. And those things decrease productivity. In terms of the phone calls, it seems like many business now do have the answering machine. And I agree with the fact it's so nice to actually talk to somebody on the phone. Rarely now, whenever I call somebody, do I actually get somebody on the end of the phone. And that's a frustrating thing. And I think like, and what I've said before, I like when I call the Bank of Montreal in Eganville. When I talk to the one person there, they say they will call me back within 24 hours. Even if they don't have an answer for me, at least I know that they heard me. So my name was on the answering machine. I don't have to worry about, like, when people don't answer, you don't know if did I not do it right? Did I get cut off? Is their mailbox full? Did something happen with the computer? It's just nice to know that somebody heard you. And like lots of times you don't have the answer, but at least respond to say, I'm thinking about it. Give me another week. I think those things are important. You know, and I do commend the fact that many people never step up to a table and say what's going on. They just go behind the scenes and complain a lot, right? So, I mean, if you want change, you know, you have to have a voice and say it in the right way. So thanks, Ms. Birch.
That's
So-
it.
Yes.
I'm not gonna be thrilled anymore. I don't mind.
We know where you live.
We'll break at the bright lights next.
Councilor Robinson.
No, I just want to express my appreciation for you giving us that input.
That's the same thing you do.
Okay, well, thank you very much for having me and listening to me. And maybe I can talk to you all again.
Thank you. So moving on, we will go to reports, and item 7.1 is the noise bylaw extension. And I have a motion that council agrees pursuant to section 5.0 of bylaw 2020-49 of the noise bylaw to extend the time that amplification equipment may be used at an outdoor public or private event on Saturday, August 24th, 2024 to 1 AM on Sunday, August 25th, 2024 for property located at 1169 Traymore Road. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Buckwell, seconded by Councilor Burnt. Questions or comments? Councilor Ricketson.
I think it's just a good idea that people do this because I think it makes the neighbors know what's going on, and then you'll have less issues down the road. So once again, it's nice that people come forward because I know probably there's other parties that go on and, you know, they don't take the same steps.
And I would just add that I think it's important as well, having this in place, then if somebody does phone, at least our staff can say, well, you know, that has been approved by council for this event, and, you know, they went through the proper channels to get that approval, so. I do believe that's a good thing. Any other comments? Seeing none, Councilor Burnt,
Yes,
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Ricketson.
Yes,
I mean, yes, it's carried, thank you. Item 7.2 is the age-friendly and inclusive community, and I have motion that council accepts this report as presented, and further that council affirms commitment to creating age-friendly and inclusive communities in North Algonah-Wilberforce Township. Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burnt. Comments or questions? Councilor Ricketson.
So like I commend Cameron on doing a lot of this stuff and it's good for our community and just maybe in the future, like, I mean, maybe we could do something at Snow Drifters just to highlight that facility also. Cause it's nice to see the Golden Lake facility being highlighted and that, but you know, and then like the music jam, I was looking on somebody else's, I think it was Whitewater. And the interesting thing about that was it just highlighted every date there was somebody and who was playing, right? And when I looked at that, I thought that would be a great opportunity because maybe somebody from there would come to like Melissa Bishop Gazebo or something like that, especially in the summertime. But, you know, just as Mr. Burke talked about the fact that it's nice if you have a list, so then you can kind of pick and choose if you're available for that day.
Councilor Burke.
Carmen, where is the community garden in Golden Lake?
It is just at the back, of where, not where the old ball field is, but behind the ball diamond, or not the ball diamonds, or the basketball court.
Oh, okay.
So there's, right now it's staked out, the Mennonite shed has been ordered and it's on its way, the raised beds are almost done being built, the contractor needed a few more supplies, so. I went to Newmark today, so it should be done, soon, and everything is supposed to be done for Monday, because that's when the seedlings get planted in the garden, there's a public event, so. It's a race to the finish line for Monday.
Thank you.
And I just had a question, Cameron. So how many people do we know? How many from the community are involved? And is it Golden Lake community or is it the whole outline area as well?
So it's the board of the food bank and some of the food bank volunteers, and they have quite a large contingent of volunteers. They already had a small bed at the food bank, so it's kind of and they're not able to use it anymore, so it's just an expansion of kind of the existing infrastructure that they have there. But new people have joined their group since then, who are interested in gardening specifically, so hopefully people come on Monday. We have had a few comments from people that they'd like to do evening or weekend things, but the current group is not available at that time, so we're gonna try to figure it out.
And how big is it? Do you have the dimensions?
12 boxes, raised bed boxes, 3 feet by 10 feet. The Mennonite shed is 10 by 10, and the gazebo is, we're not sure if it's gonna be 8 by 8 or 10 by 10.
So that's a pretty good sized garden area then.
Yeah, it is.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get vandalized. That's always a concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and in terms of vandalism and stuff, and I know Beachburg, they had, at the fair, some stuff vandalized, and they knew who it was, and they went to the kids. The other thing too is having the buy-in, right?
Yeah.
So if there was a youth group, on the First Nations, perhaps they would like to, you know, contribute, like when people work towards something, they're less likely to want to vandalize it.
I think you're 100% right, and the group has invited a youth group actually, who meets at the community hall on Fridays to be involved. And they're gonna be painting some signs, community garden signs for it, and hopefully that does have a positive effect. I also wanna put a solar light on the shed and on the gazebo, because I feel like if it's lit, like one of the issues is that it's dark back there, that's what things kind of going back there, but if we light it up, then it will hopefully deter that.
Right, and like sometimes the community looks after stuff, right? So if they feel like there's buy-in to that, they're more likely to say, hey, don't do that. I know that's what you're doing, smart enough.
Well, and there's the, you know, the social broken window effect where things are kind of falling apart, then it just encourages more so. And I think actually since we repainted that building, put the murals up, repainted the community hall, I feel like since then, there hasn't been any like that I've noticed, but maybe you've noticed. Yeah, like it was pretty frequent before that, and I think that because it's looking so nice, people are more willing to take better care of things, so.
Councilor Robinson.
No, I was just going to comment that the library also have a community garden. And that's very well utilized and has not had any issues, so.
Great. Any other comments? Seeing none. Councilor Burns.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Councilor Bucklow.
Yes.
Councilor Rector.
Yes.
Yes, it's carried. Thank you. Item 7.3 is the seniors extended collaboration, and I have a motion that council accepts the report as presented, and further that council approves extending the collaboration with the Eganville and District seniors by working together on a horseshoe club. Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burns. Comments or questions? Councilor Pichon.
Cameron, did people approach you from the, Eganville Seniors Extended Club about the horseshoe pits?
Yes,
And like, would they have any like monies available or any people willing to donate like wood for the frames or anything, other stuff? Like, it seems like in a way, it would be nice if the collaboration was also kind of a financial collaboration also.
I think at this point it's not, but they are really good at getting grants and we have worked together to get some grants in the past. So I think it would just be a continuation of that relationship and would help for future grant potential.
But we wouldn't, but we couldn't get money for something that's already done, right?
Right, yeah. But if we were to put, say, like, you know, at the May 6th meeting, we talked about like a pickleball court or something like that. Like if people are using the site and it's, you know, we have people in there, then it's gonna generate more traction.
See, I always feel better when like it's like a partnership, more money. Now, you said like new shoes, did they not have it? They must have had horseshoes left.
I'm not sure. I couldn't speak to what's available, but the people who did approach the Eganville seniors are the former horseshoe club. And they were looking at other locations too, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice having it there and they did enjoy it. I imagine there's some money in the rec committee, but it would be nice if they had some money in the game too, I think. Or being able to like dig up the pits or maybe they know somebody that would donate a load of sand. Like, you know, maybe somebody knows Roselle. Then we could just say, thank you for your contribution. Like, I feel more comfortable going ahead with this if I felt that somebody else was contributing some money to it.
Councilor Robinson.
And there are other community organizations that would be able to assist. Such as Rotary. That has
Right.
a fair bit of money available.
Could we like somehow defer this maybe until like even the next recreation meeting and then maybe somebody, you know, could talk to the Rotary and maybe this amount of $2,000 could be reduced to $1,000? Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, and that dollar amount isn't a for sure thing, that's just a
Right.
quote, a general idea, but yeah. I mean, we could defer, I think it would be nice if we said we we're interested in
Right.
moving forward with a partnership, but we aren't committing any dollars, you can say that.
I would feel better about that.
Councilor Robinson,
Are you making a recommendation to amend,
to defer.
Just to
just to
defer.
defer the whole thing?
Right, because then perhaps we can get more information, right? You could talk to them and say, is there any, and then, you know, you could approach the Rotary. We could bring it up at the rec committee meeting and saying, would we like to contribute to something like that?
Is there a timeline requirement?
Well, so the motion is that we work together on a horseshoe club, it doesn't say. I mean, we can amend it to be more specific and say. I don't know, not sure exactly, maybe you guys have a suggestion for how to word it more clearly, like what our intention is.
Because you're gonna get in contact with members of the Eganville seniors, right?
Yeah, and she'll want to update that tomorrow, so.
Right, but I mean, that's a good update, just saying, yes, of course, you know, we're considering the facility and stuff like that, we're just looking at a way to, you know, reduce the dollar amount.
Yeah,
I would suggest we defer at least to the next meeting. Does that give staff enough time?
Yeah, I don't think I think you're right, Cameron, there's no dollar value in the resolution.
There is a
So if you're passing the,
It's.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're not
correct.
authorizing funds at this point, it's not a budget item.
Oh, no, you're right. We're just the resolution.
you can pass
Doesn't,
that.
yeah.
And then we'll look for money,
yeah,
collaborations with money.
honest or social club.
Yeah, because this just talks about extending the collaborations.
And very well, there might be some, if you do that, like some people might donate, like I'm just thinking Country Depot has done a lot, right? With the races and stuff like that, maybe they donate the wood, right? That'd be a sales and, Ralph Sell, you guys are a contractor for sand and gravel, maybe you donate. And then, it's just labor. I'm thinking,
So, any other comments or questions? And this motion has been moved and seconded, so I'll call the vote. Councillor Burke,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld,
yes,
and a yes, and that's carried. Okay. Item 7.4 is the vacant municipal land, and I have a motion that council accepts the report as presented. And further, staff recommend that council direct to send the information related to the 4.2 acre property located at Lot 4 Concession 2 on Wentworth Street within the village of Golden Lake to be included in the land identified for potential development and continue to collaborate with county staff regarding the process.
Just before that's moved, Mr. Mayor, I think that should be direct staff too.
Yep.
They can direct staff to send the information to.
Okay. I think that's a friendly amendment.
Well, it's not moved yet.
No,
That's why I
true.
said it first.
That's true. So I'll ask for a mover and a seconder with that correction, moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld. Comments, questions? Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld?
so is there like a master list throughout the county and through the province, for people looking for, pieces of land to develop, is that kind of what this is coming from?
I don't think there is a master list. The county is trying to create a list based on, I think what I've been told is they were doing it within the county and then extended it to local municipalities who might have property available.
Okay, and then they'd advertise that,
Yeah, they put out an expression of interest to developers and other organizations who are interested in helping with the housing or developing through the housing crisis. So it's just a start at saying we have this piece of property, and as I said in the report, all the planning matters still are in place. It's not like we're just putting it up and they're gonna do with it whatever they would like.
Right.
It's just, we have a piece of property, there's potential. So we're kind of putting it into the bunch with the county to say, hey, come look at this.
Yeah, part of the Eastern Ontario Warden's Office is that their commitment is to build 700 homes or 7,000 homes in 7 years, 7,000, I think it is.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to make the process more efficient by having the local municipalities identify properties that they would be willing to put out for development. It saves the developers a little bit of time trying to search themselves, so the county's taking the lead on it, and they'll include any of the lower tier municipalities who want to add their vacant property to the list.
This property has been surveyed in the last couple of weeks and it's all marked out now. So we don't have to go looking for the lines.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Councillor Burns?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell?
Yes.
Councillor Recchi Schoenfeld?
yes,
I mean, yes, that's carried too. Item 7.5 is the community complex board sign, and I have a motion that council accepts the report as presented, and further that council gives direction to repair or remove the wooden sign and direct staff to develop a media policy in regards to municipal signage and social media content. And I got a move by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Burt. Comments, questions? Councillor Buckwell?
There should be a policy on the books somewhere regarding that sign. Because it's always been township policy in the past that the sign was only used for events related to community center rentals, unless there was a request made to council. And now that's going back a number of years, but I don't believe it was ever rescinded, so there should still be something on the books. But it could easily be replaced with something new. Just if we do a new one, we just make sure that we revoke any old ones that are in place.
Councillor Evans.
Sometimes I like that sign and I like when we put something positive on there, especially when it was COVID and stuff like that. But I realized too, when you're taking the letters off and the numbers off and putting them on, that's a very time consuming job. And if we're paying our public works people or Cameron, whoever, like, is that a wise use of our dollar per hour resources, right? I also realized that whatever that's electronic sign that's put on the side of the fire hall, to me, doesn't get a lot of bang for our buck either in that. I don't think a lot of people see it. I also realized when we bought that, we were going to replace that and stick it where the old wooden one was, but because of like being too close and MTO and all that other stuff, we couldn't. So we stuck it there. So we're back to this problem of how do we communicate to people in our area about stuff going on, right? And also wise use of our dollar resources per hour. You know, you don't see many signs like that anymore. You know, and so like, if we have to, you know, the cost of putting the stuff up in there and the cost of like fixing it again, is that really good value for the money that we have?
Councillor Buckland.
Personally, and it's a financial outlay, I'd like to look into if we can replace that sign with a two-sided electronic one, which was the original plan. Because again, it's very easily done by computer remotely. So it doesn't require somebody going out and having to, you know, take off letters, everything else, maintain it. It would be a matter of essentially of running electricity to it. Because it's an existing sign, there really shouldn't be an issue with MTO if we're not changing its size or shape, unless Adrian's aware of something with that, because it is close to the intersection and it is within, you know, 100 feet of the road type thing.
I can speak to that. You probably are lucky at this point because you're probably supposed to pay an annual fee to the MTO.
I think it's small enough for the square footage of the sign.
Every sign has a fee, and the sign that dictates the cost. So it's from this side to this side is so much, so. I'm not sure if they are aware that you even have the sign there, because I think they probably thought the electric sign was going to remove that sign, so. And from what I understand, it's the one that was put on the building was allowed to because it was put on the building and not on MTO property. So there are setbacks for signs, so.
That's electric.
I really think when we bought that sign because we got a grant for that Main Street grant, that's what we're gonna do. And I'm almost absolutely sure that's why we put them both, one here and one there, because we couldn't put it there.
Again, because, well, MTO, we were waiting for MTO to give us a response on whether or not we could do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mr. Sprott told us that we couldn't do it. Like, I'm almost positive of that one. But I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, these two signs here, I think, are underutilized.
Councillor Robinson.
I think we're getting conflicting remarks when it came to the sign, because originally, as Councillor Michael Schoenfeld had indicated, that sign that's on the building was supposed to be, and we're told it's too bright, it's too distracting, blah, blah, blah. Now, are we going to be able to put anything up there if the guidelines are still the same? You know what I mean? Like, if we put an electronic sign there, there must be some rules about lighting and background, etc., in order to do something like that. Because when we were told originally was because it was too distracting to have the sign in the spot that we wanted it.
Councillor Buckland.
Yeah, I don't recall that we ever got anything official from MTO on that. So maybe that's something to consider, is let's have staff reach out to MTO and you know,
get a
can we put an
decision.
electronic one here and get a firm answer.
And what would it cost?
Exactly.
Or if we can't put it there, can we put it at the Public Works garage and go away?
And again, a two-sided one so that it can be seen properly, because basically we had a two-sided sign and we split it up into two to put one here and one there to get some utility out of them. That might be an even better option. But it doesn't address our issue with the existing sign.
That's the direction staff is looking for. What do we do with the existing sign? It's more or less, Adrian, it's in a state of repair where it's probably should come down.
I'm gonna be brutally honest, I don't even know that I've noticed that sign before. I haven't. So when we discussed this last week, I said, well, I was going to take a peek at it, but I haven't yet, but. From what I understand, it does need some repair and some work, and most of the pieces are missing, so. And I believe that you probably won't get approval for a electronic sign at that location,
I have to agree with that.
or any other sign for that matter.
Right,
So I mean, once you remove something, you're probably going to remove it forever.
yeah,
Especially, I think, in that there's so many concerns about accidents in that corner, it is
Mhm.
distracting.
mhm.
Like when you are turning in that general area, there's a lot going on.
Just keeping your eyes on the road is a full-time job right there.
Yeah.
Without reading signs.
I guess.
Yes.
I was think. On the premise of communication. Having something there does add value. However. The concern which everyone has is that anything electronic is going to be distracting. Now, can you have an electronic sign that is not blaring at you? I think that's the question.
Because you can adjust the lighting on those.
Well, that's what I
and the
mean.
text size and everything else.
Yeah.
So that it's not so intense.
Exactly.
Councilor Rector.
You know the portable ones, when we had it here before and they're on wheels?
Yeah.
Are there different requirements for them? Like, for instance, if there wasn't, I'd take down that one, I'd stick a wheelie one there.
But still a permit is required. But it's a temporary permit because it's on wheels. You can have it there for a week or 14 days or something, and then you must remove it.
But sometimes I think, when I see something new, then that draws my attention to it. If it's been there forever, then I kind of zone out on it, right? And so like something like that, where we could maybe rent it, and if it wasn't that expensive, maybe look at purchasing one, where we could have it like in the summer. To like the fall, when most of the activities are going on, I don't know. But I agree, once we take it down, I just think that I don't want to really put more money into something that, you know.
So am I hearing correctly that council's direction to staff will be to remove the existing sign?
Could we wait till the summer or something?
Well, the other issue is that that the plastic pieces are really brittle and most of them are broken, so we have no numbers at this point and very few letters. So when the public wants to put information on there, it's very difficult because.
Could we play like Scrabble? I don't know.
Yeah, see, those aren't very old,
Mhm.
right? And they
And
weren't,
they're the element.
in the elements, and they took a lot of UV light before people worried about light, so the plastic wasn't designed for it. Maybe a suggestion is reach out to one of the local sign people that we've used in the past to see if they can, what the cost would be to make up some new numbers. Cause I hate, because again, it is existing, and like I said, once you take it down, it's gone, you're not gonna get to put something back, so if we wanna have something there. I would be opposed to taking it down at this point.
So if we leave it, then we have to either update our policy or create a new one, because it would only be, correct me if I'm wrong, but something we could use 3 seasons, because in the winter, unless somebody cleans all the snow around the bottom, you can't have something running up there to put the letters on and.
Well, you don't have to climb, it's not that high. You can actually put them on while standing in front, you might need a step stool for the top row, but I don't even think that. But yeah, it would be walking through the snow to get to it. Again, what the thing is, like I say, once it's gone, then you don't have the option anymore. even if we deferred with some direction to staff to get a price on replacement lettering.
That's not a bad idea, so. Council's okay to defer? Hmm.
And could we also find out about electronic sign, if something was possible to?
So you want like an updated report with information on the electronic side from the MTO, pricing for new letters? And are you interested at all in the option of putting a permanent, like if we're even allowed, we'd have to ask the MTO, but like a welcome to Golden Lake or something permanent? No,
I don't think that, yeah, it is a busy intersection.
Yeah.
People aren't really even gonna notice it. If there's something there that changes from time to time, that it might catch their eye, then I can see a value to that. But just having something like that for the sake of having that, I don't see the value in that.
No. So it's deferred and direction is to bring back more information. Councillor Burns,
Yes,
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Bucknell,
Yes,
Councillor Rakichenko,
Yes,
and yes, it's carried, thank you. 7.6 is the Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility Inclusive Community Grant. And I have a motion that the committee accepts, that the council accepts the report as presented, and further that council authorizes staff to complete the application for inclusive community grant, and if successful, it will be used for the Snowdrifters facility. Moved by Councillor Buckle, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Questions, comments? Councillor Rakichenko.
so if we were successful at attaining the $60,000, but let's just say then when we really put out the RFP or whatever we call it, and it comes in at like $90,000, can we just get back that $60,000?
so the doors, we've already put in a door at Golden Lake, so. We know that we know what the base price for that least that job is. And for the aluminum ramp, we can just order that.
And is that about, so that price of $12,000 is fairly accurate?
That price is accurate. The only variable is the building of the decking. And how elaborate we can get with that will depend on what prices we get.
So you feel fairly confident that, we could do that for $60,000?
Yeah, but like I said, the variability is gonna be in decking. Yeah. At the very least, even updating the ramp desperately needs to be updated. It's a safety issue, and the two doors that are there are difficult to open, so they need to replace with some doors, so it'd be nice if they were just button door like it.
Any other comments or questions? I agree with what you're saying, Cameron. If we're talking about an inclusive community, and especially for aging population, we want to make sure whatever we put in is current with today's regulations for accessibility. Any other questions? Seeing none, Councillor Burns,
yes,
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell,
yes.
Councillor Rakichenko.
Yes,
Yes, that's carried, thank you. And 7.7 is the results of the special council meeting at Snowdrifter facility, and I have a motion that council accepts the report as information. Moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Rakichenko. Questions or comments? Seeing none.
Mr. Mayor.
Sorry,
Sure.
Councillor Buckle.
It's fine to accept it as information, but we held a meeting to develop a plan as to what we're going to do with the property. I think we need to have an action plan for this information, as opposed to just accepting it and putting it on shelf. Because otherwise, there's no point in having a meeting.
So the advisory committee has made a working group specifically focused on snowdrifters. They've had one meeting so far, they're gonna have another one next week, and they are going to present some recommendations to the advisory committee. And the advisory committee is gonna present those to council.
So I recommend, I suggest, Mr. Mayor, that we and let's do the tick box and submit to this to the advisory committee as well. As long as it's not just gonna sit somewhere and be lost, because that was, if not a waste of a meeting, if we're not gonna do anything with the information.
Do we need a new motion?
And then motion.
And did the report not indicate that we were sending it to the?
I didn't check off the box.
Oh, sorry, yeah, they were there, so. And I have sent these drafts to them,
So this second paragraph, members of the Snowdrifters Facility Working Group of the Advisory Committee to Council Committee attended the meeting and are preparing a report to bring to the Advisory to Council Committee.
Okay, but
That's
that's fine then.
Sorry about that, we'll use the box next time.
That's what I think. No.
Because I'm not part of the advisory committee and there was lots of good discussion going on, so like I had one thought and like it looked like people really feel strongly about keeping the Snowdrifters name, which is great. And then I was thinking too, if we ever developed a sign just for branding again, where you'd have the 4 seasons, so something nearly like a coat of arms, where the spring you'd have these activities and it's just like the people, more people that know they can do more things at that facility, the better.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Buckles,
Yes,
Councillor Schoenfeld,
Yes,
and yes, it's very good. Item 7.8 is regarding intimate partner violence, and I have a motion that council accepts the report as presented, and further that staff create the proposed policies to address intimate partner violence in the township for council approval. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Buckles. Questions, comments? Councillor Schoenfeld.
I think it would be a great thing to have for sure, because I mean, it's a terrible thing. It's like, once again, it goes back to like, how do we communicate this to our ratepayers that there are safe spaces, and this could be a plan if you felt you needed to talk to somebody. So I think that's really important, which gets back to like, do we have a town hall? Do we have meetings, 4 times a year and do that? Because I think that's important. The other thing I'd like to see is those contact numbers like Renfrew County Victim Services, Bernadette McCann House on our website. That should be a number that should be easily found. When you're in a crisis situation, you're not thinking calm and clearly, but it would be nice if I could go there and I'd find those numbers. And I think that's just really important. And like those numbers should be in different parts of our, in the main office and in all our buildings, and including if we could get some businesses that would have it even with a tear off, right? Because if I'm getting, something's going on in my relationship, but I go to the grocery store and I see a poster with a tear off, then I'm gonna tear it off, right? Or if I go to Cottage Cup, or if I go to the gas station, I'm gonna tear it off, right? Because you don't want to keep a secret. You don't want your partner to think you're doing something, right? But you also need those things to be able to go on the next step.
I think this is a great idea, because if I remember correct, well, I don't even want to try and remember, but there was something like, and maybe Cameron, the exact number, 40 or 50 recommendations that came out of that inquiry.
I don't know the exact number, sorry.
I can't remember the exact number, but there was quite a few, and this is just, I think, a great opportunity to start moving in a direction where we can provide a little more support for somebody who's going through a challenging situation. And I like your idea of sharing it with businesses. I mean, we certainly have to have that conversation, whether they would want to post that. I don't know if there'd be an objection, but Councillor Buckland.
I think on that sort of thing, I understand the desire of council to support that, but I think that would be best left to the organizations like Bernadette McCann and Victim Services, so that it's information coming from one source, and that they know exactly what is out there. Like the fact that we're going to provide a safe space, that's not something you want to advertise.
No.
That's something that the agencies need to know that they can access, right? Because if not, it kind of defeats the purpose of it being a quiet place for them to go.
But what I was looking for is just having the numbers posted, not necessarily what we're doing.
Oh, absolutely. And
Like
again,
that.
and I'm sure that Bernadette McCann and Victim Services will be able to provide that material for us, as opposed to generating something of our own. It's much better to let the experts provide the materials, and then
That's right.
we can act as a source for it.
No, and that's what I meant,
Yeah.
but they have to, people that are seeking help need to know where to go for help. And I'm not saying, and they need telephone numbers and they need contacts, right?
Yes.
I just want to say there were also other recommendations, but I don't feel that we were ready to implement some of the other ones. Like, we just don't have the resources. These ones were ones I thought we could do right away. And I will continue to meet with them and just see like where we're at. But some of the other ones involve training or at the community safety and well-being days where we have fire safety stuff, having someone from the services come and be present and just offer information, stuff like that. Like, there's other things we could kind of move into doing, but this was just easy to, kind of move forward with something.
Councillor Robinson.
I'm just curious, some of the other municipalities have like a 511 number. That a person it's very easy to remember. And once they get into that number, they're directed to wherever they may need that help.
Ontario 211
Yes.
can provide you with the resources, any place in the province.
I think promoting that as a one way of getting in would be much more beneficial than, yes, having the numbers posted in multiple places. But if we can start publicizing the 211 as an emergency access besides the 911.
And information access. It's
Yeah,
not
I know,
emergency access. Yeah.
information. Because most times you don't even know where to start.
Well, I agree with Councillor Buckwell. I think Bernadette McCann has already some of those printed information sheets that they can make available. And as you say, they.
Put it in community centers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But this is a step in the right direction. Any other comments? Seeing none, Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell.
Yes.
Councillor Rector.
Yes.
Oh, yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.9 is the building fees report, and I have a motion that council accepts the report as presented. Moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Rector. Comments or questions? Councillor Rector.
Do we have a designated reserve for building inspection?
Not, excuse me, not at this time, but we will be in the near future. We're looking at all of the reserves.
And I guess when you look to the appendix A, I guess I was just concerned about. And I guess we'll know more what's going on this year, but in 2022. The building permit fees versus 2023 building permit fees. And then we looked at salaries and wages. I mean, part of the reason we went with a full-time CBO was. I guess part of the reason we had a part-time CBO before shared with BV was to cut costs, right? Or to share costs, that's a better way. Well, I guess to cut salary costs. And then when you look at it now, like $66,000 to $104,000, that's a big increase. And then if you look what we brought in, that's. I'm just saying it's something to consider because there's only so much money out there.
Councillor Buckwell.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I think if you were to reach out to our neighbor, I think you would find that they don't have the time to split a position. To be able to split a CBO. Unless you're gonna hire them to work underneath chief building official, assistant building officials. If you can find them. And it's not, by the time you do that, you're not gonna have a huge savings. And it didn't work that well for us. in the past.
And just to add to that, in a lot of the smaller municipalities, the CBO wears more than one hat. In a lot of cases, they're also bylaw. And, they could be fire prevention.
Fire prevention, fire chief.
Yeah, so. I don't know who you would find somebody that you could share, and again, then the challenge becomes, how can you ensure that you're equally getting the amount of time that you need? And with the, I know our chief building official right now is very, very busy. And it is, correct me if I'm wrong, I'll turn to this guy. She probably is full-time working on building right now.
Well, I think the other thing that we should remember is that we did, the permit fee bylaw, and we knew that our rates were lower than anyone else in the county, right? So that fee permit that we brought in last year was stipulated because of that. So we did make some effort to get those numbers up a little bit. And I know that the legislative changes related to CBO have put that position in demand, and there is no, there's really not many CBOs around. We grew our own, right? So.
And ours has been headhunted.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Councillor Burke.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yeah,
Councillor Buckland,
Yes.
Councillor Rector Schoenfeld.
Yes,
Oh, yes, carried, thank you. Item 7.10 is the community grant request. I have a motion the council waives the daily rental fee for the Golden Night Hall for the Golden Night, excuse me, 4-H Sheep Club to host a one-day fundraising event in June. Moved by Councillor Buckland, seconded by Councillor Burnt. Questions or comments? Councillor Schoenfeld.
have they used up their 4 days? Are there 4 times?
That was for last year, it was for winter meetings.
Right, and so they use those 4 up. So I mean, I see the value of 4-H, and I have been a leader along with the rest of my family. And lots of times we just went to a person's place when we were doing meetings or fundraising. I see why they'd like to have it at Golden Lake. But I mean, we already did contribute and give them something already. I mean, maybe a reduced rental fee, but they say they're using it for fundraising, so maybe some of the funds have to go towards a rental fee.
May I just ask, what is the daily rental fee?
$150 according to the report.
150?
150.
Oh, yes, okay. And they're gonna be doing painting burn hills.
I mean, and they do say it's a fundraiser, so. They're expecting people to donate money. I mean, to me, it's just. We still have to have somebody to ensure that it's clean, right? And to lock and unlock.
So we'd be donating to their fundraiser.
We have already.
Councillor Robinson.
I would suggest that we do it at a reduced rate, not for free.
Would you suggest 50%?
Yes,
Any other comments? Do we have to change that? I think we do. So we would provide a reduced rental fee of $75. Okay, so I'll read.
Those are the points. Sorry.
So the resolution now reads that council provides a reduced rental fee for the day to $75 for the Golden Night Hall for the Golden Night 4-H Sheep Club to host a one-day fundraising event in June. So Councillor Buckholz and Councillor Byrne, the movers and seconders, are you okay with the revised resolution?
Yes.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Councillor Byrne,
Yes,
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Buckholz,
Yes.
Councillor Ricky Schoenfeld.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So that's carried. Item 7.11 is in regards to public communications, and I have a motion that council accepts the public council communication processes report as presented, and that council is wishing to promote a procedure, provide a report on the preferred process they desire to implement to staff by Tuesday, May 28th, to be included for discussion at the June 4th, 2024 regular council meeting. Moved by Councillor Buckholz, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Questions or comments?
So Laura, you reached out to like all the municipalities in Renfrew County and then they just came back with that.
Not always done.
Right. Did they say if any of them were better than others or did they give you a comment on that?
I
Just that one?
yeah, just.
Okay.
So I did speak to a number of the other mayors. There's only two other councils in all of Renfrew County that actually do a question period where there's dialogue back and forth. Whitewater Council and Arnprior Council, they allow public comments, but there's no dialogue with council. They can provide their comments at the end of the meeting and it's recorded in the minutes. The only two that provide a question period were Admiston Brumley and McNabb Brayside. Admiston Brumley, and speaking to the mayor there, he said there's very, very few times where they even get somebody showing up that wants to ask a question. The mayor from McNabb Brayside said, don't use our municipality as an example on how to properly run a meeting, so. Yeah, Councillor Buckholz.
I know, because we did have this opportunity background, and I hate to say this, at the turn of the century or the turn of the millennium, when we did have that at the end of the meeting, and we had very few issues with it. I know there's some concern with things that have gone on in the last decade or decade and a bit, but I think that just comes down to if there are issues, then the chair just maintains order. As far as out of the question period, again, if it's appropriate and relevant with some guidelines that I'm hoping the members of council will suggest to staff in written reports prior to the meeting, I don't have an issue with bringing a question period back.
So when you want a report, do you want like everything or just like the general, this is a way, or do you want like all the rules and procedures and everything?
I think the vision that you have, and then the rules need to be with all of council.
Okay.
Any other comments? I certainly am not in support of the question period, and I think if people go all the way back to the intent of the municipal act, that council meetings are public, means that they're available for the public to observe and listen without comment. I certainly don't have a problem with doing some town hall meetings, because I think then it's not part of the regular agenda, that you can have a more flexible interaction with your residents. Well, that's my comments. I mean, I think the council meetings are really the business of the council and the decisions we make are something that could be discussed in a town hall meeting if you do it on a quarterly or every 4-month basis. But you're not having to deal with it every meeting. Any other comments? Seeing none, Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Bucklow,
Yes.
Councillor Recusant.
Yes,
Oh, yes, it's carried. Okay. Item 712 is the tax collection policy, and I have a motion that council accepts the report and passes the tax policy, and further that any former bylaws pertaining to this matter are hereby rescinded. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckle. Comments, questions? Councillor Recusant.
I like the general follow-up methods that like that, those instructions or those procedures. Do we know how much money that we do have in arrears? Okay,
I like this and I certainly support it because I think it's important to have a policy that's clear. So for staff, if there are questions, everybody is getting the same message as far as the process that we have in place and intend to follow. Councillor Buckland.
I just have one question. I think it just might be an omission by staff. We don't accept cash for tax payments.
Is it to look at everything? Is that your question? Sorry.
Well, section 7, accepted payment methods. We accept telephone and internet banking, checks, payments at financial institutions, payments by a mortgage company, payments tendered in US funds will be accepted at the exchange rate, and third-party checks will not be accepted. Nothing saying we accept cash.
Okay.
So staff will have that.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, and I'll call the vote on the resolution as amended. Councillor Burt.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Buckle,
Yes.
Councillor Recusant,
yes.
and a yes, it's carried. Thank you.
I didn't do anything.
Uh-oh.
I hope the button's wrong.
So we're at item 9.1, which is correspondence, and it's non-action, and I have a motion that correspondence items 9.1.1 to 9.1.2 be accepted as information. Moved by Councillor Buckle, seconded by Councillor Burt. Councillor Burt.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Buckle,
Yes.
Councillor Recusant.
Yes,
Yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item 9.3 is the CHIO Child Safety Guide magazine, and I have a motion of council approves of advertising in the CHIO Children's Safety Guide that has replaced the Tiny Hearts magazine at the same rate of $295,000 plus HST for a business card size ad.
Oh, dear.
Moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments or questions? Seeing none, Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Barto.
Yes.
Councillor Rakichanko.
No,
I'm a yes, that's carried. So we're at bylaws. We don't have bylaws, right? Are there any matters of urgency? Any notice of motion? We've done our reports from committees, so upcoming meetings and unfinished business, so our next advisory. To council committee meeting is May the 29th at 7 p.m. Our next regular council meeting is June the 4th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And at this point, I would suggest we take a 5-minute pause before we go into close. Closed items involve personal matters that are identified by individuals, three labor relations or employee negotiations, and one information.
What's it that-
is confidence by another level of fact. The resolution is that council will not provide
Check your pulse.
any.
No.
Or any opinions until, or should an opinion,
that one or the other.
yeah. Council will not provide an opinion until more information is
Yeah.
provided by the other level of government. Mover and a seconder, moved by Councillor Bucknell, seconded by Councillor Burns. Councillor Burns. Yes. Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Bucknell.
Yes.
Councillor Reddy
Yes.
I'm a yes, that's carried. And then in regards to human resources. I have motion that council gives staff direction to the agreed upon recommendations within the staff report, and further the council directs staff to post the CAO quick position and create a hiring committee that includes a member of staff from the county, neighboring municipality, and one member of council, or do we want to put all members of council?
I would
think you
recommend
said
all
we're doing
members.
this.
Do you want to just cut it out committee?
Yeah,
Sure.
And then we can, as we
Yeah.
go forward, we'll figure out that's.
Sure.
Yeah, can do it, just cut out, after committee, just.
create a hiring committee.
From doing things to one member of council.
And further that expenditures incurred for professional financial advice and recruitment support over and above the expenditures within the 2024 budget will be financed from reserves prior to the end of the year. The Jennifer's gonna find us all kinds of money.
Not yet.
Moved by
Needle
Councillor
in a
Buckwell,
haystack.
seconded by Councillor Byrd.
Big circle.
Okay, good.
Councillor Byrd,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell.
Yes.
Councillor Reddy.
Yes,
And a yes, that's carried. Bylaw 2024-29, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council for May 21st, 2024, be read at first and second time this 21st day of May 2024, moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Reddy.
So it's 30.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is it, that
Should be 30.
it should be 30.
Okay.
I did it too fast.
Oh, 2024-30, okay. You got the mover and seconder? No?
Mhm.
I don't, but I can give them.
Marie and me.
Maria and, Jenna. He read it third time and finally passed this 21st day of May 2024. Councillor Burns. Yes. Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell.
Yes.
Councillor Schoenfeld.
Yes,
And a yes, that's carried. And then I have a motion that this May 21st, 2024 regular meeting of council adjourns at 10:23 p.m. Moved
I'll
by
get Melvin.
Councillor Robinson, seconded by
Melvin.
Byrd. Councillor Byrd, yes. Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell.
Yes.
Councillor Schoenfeld.
Yep.
And a yes. Carried, thank you.